So tonight we are going to pick up with step 3. And I'm really excited to have this idea that this material is eventually going to become a book or become something. And I want to give you guys a little bit of an announcement. I'm going to teach a visioning class for the end of the year. And I'm very, very excited about that. So this is the book, Vivid Vision. Cameron Herold. I don't know if you know the book or not. It's a business book. So but that's not the point. The book itself, Cameron Herold. I don't know if you're reading that, it looks backwards on my screen, but it says a remarkable tool for aligning your business around a shared vision of the future. And the reason that I wanted to do that is that I'm getting ready to do end of year planning for, oh, that's a good idea, Constance. Yes, I will pre-apply for CEUs. Hold on. Write that down. Those of you that are in the UFBL with your licenses, I will pre-apply for CEUs. So I'm using this book right now in the financial business and to plan out the work that we're doing for 2022, to market the company. I am also using it personally to flesh out the vision for a church. And the way that this works is that it looks out 3 years. So the idea is that, 1 year into the future is probably too short to get any real momentum. 5 years into the future is probably too far to actually stick with it. And so 3 is like that magic number, because you can look out and imagine what things are going to be like 3 years into the future. It's very, very powerful. And so I encourage you to go grab the book from Amazon, Vivid Vision, Cameron Herold, and we're going to start that in 2 or 3 weeks, right before in November. So we're going to finish up this 10 through 19 today. We're going to do the specifically verses 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then we're going to next week do step 4, which is putting the definitions back in and then letting the meaning emerge. And then we're going to turn. So in 2 weeks, we'll pick up with Vivid Vision. So very excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that it's a perfect way to end the year. And so I want to encourage you to go ahead and add that book to your library because you'll want to have it handy. I'm going to literally work directly from the book. I'll be putting our spiritual language on it, because this is not a spiritual book, but I'll be using our language of metaphysics as part of the conversation with it. So you want to have that handy. All right, so we are making our way. I thank you guys for being a part of this process, because I feel like I'm learning how to share what I've been doing with this metaphysical interpretation in a way that you can duplicate it in your experience. And I'm excited about the way that it's coming together. And I tell you, when I look at it, I really can see workbooks in the future where it's like, you know what, I want to do the metaphysics of, well, like the story we're doing right now for Up Church, Joshua chapter 6. And then you'll have this little workbook that you can go through and break apart the words, find your keywords and all of that, and just work through that. So very exciting what that can become. And I'm grateful because this is being birthed here in this class. And one of the missions that God has given me is to protect, preserve, progress, and pass on the art and the science of metaphysical Bible interpretation. And so I feel like that's coming to fruition. So very, very excited. So we've been doing chapter 4, verses 10 through 19. We've been taking our time with it so that you can really grasp each part. Where we are is step 3 of a 4-step process. Step 3 is where we are developing the metaphysical definitions. And what that means is that we are looking at the content of the scripture and deciding, looking at the content of the scripture and deciding how to looking at the definitions that we find in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, in the Revealing Word, in the regular dictionary, and massaging them so that we get a definition for the word. And one of the things that we ran into is that the way that the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and the Revealing Word was compiled is that it was essentially excerpts from Fillmore's writings. So sometimes you get a definition that makes sense and fits for the word that you're working with. And sometimes you've got to take what's there and make it fit the part of speech that you're replacing, or the phrase that you're replacing. So that's where we are. So we have done, I'm going to share my screen. We have done verses 10, 11, 12, and 13. So just very briefly, what you have on the worksheet, and you already have these worksheets with you. Verse 10 is, attend, my son, and take my words, that the years of your life may increase. So part 1 of step 3 is to just look up the definitions. And you're looking them up from the Revealing Word, the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, and other Bible sources. We talked about Blue Letter Bible, but you can also use the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. You can use the Bible commentary, which I've given you guys from the Anchor Bible Commentary, and the Oxford Annotated, and the Jewish Study Bible. But you can use other Bible sources to help you develop the definitions. So these are built, the attend, take, words, life, which we chose in step 2, are the words that we then go and look up. And these were the definitions that we found. And then you've got to create the definition so that it matches the part of speech that you're replacing. So attend is a verb, whereas the definition, so this definition right now is as a noun. But if we go back up to where we were for the verse, attend is used as a verb. So essentially we have to take that word, take that definition, the ability to look deeper than words, and turn it into a definition that would be like what we would see if it were a verb. And so that's where we changed the ability to look deeper than words and catch the inner meaning to simply to look deeper than words and to catch the inner meaning. So that's the process for step 2. And so we did that same thing for verse 11. We did the same thing for verse 12 and verse 13. And so where we are tonight is verse 14. And so what I'd like to do is that I would like to go into breakout rooms. I think we got enough people, and then I can jump between the breakout rooms. And we'll do 2 breakout rooms. Let me set up the rooms. So we'll do 2 rooms, and room number 1 will have verses 14 through 16. And room number 2 will have verses 17 through 19. So each room will have 3 verses. So room 1 is Constance, Dr. Brenda, and is it Marcia or Marcia?
I go by Marcia.
Marcia, okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Constance, Dr. Brenda, and Marcia, and then you have verses 14, 15, and 16. And then room 2 is Glenda and Shamika, and you have 17, 18, and 19. So first, let me make sure, does everybody have the worksheet? Does anybody need me to put the link in there for you to get the worksheet? Everybody's got it. Okay, great. Okay, so we will go, and I'm going to toggle between the rooms just to answer any questions. I'll give you kind of a 5-minute head start, and then I'll jump into the rooms with you. And just so I can kind of make sure I don't pull you guys back before you had enough time to look up the words. And what you're doing for the verses that you have is that you're doing part 1 and part 2 for step 3. And then we're going to share. So you'll pick somebody from your group that will share when we come back in the main session. Is that good for everybody? Okay. We are coming back. How was the exercise?
I enjoyed working with my 2 partners. It was good.
Yes.
I find that when I get into it, that it's very enriching. When I think about that for because I think about this kind of study as being really good for what you do, in your own devotional time. And this feels like the kind of work that you can do. So group 1 or verses 14 through 16. So that was Constance, Dr. Brenda, and Marcia. Who did you guys choose to speak from your group?
We didn't
We
choose
chose
nobody.
Marcia.
I said we didn't choose nobody.
We had Marcia
I was
be
the
the
typer.
scribe, so we're gonna let her read her notes.
All right. So the definition, so we'll just give me the part 2 part. What was the definition that you guys developed for enter not?
Do not come in.
Okay, do not come in. Okay. And for way?
I am.
Okay. And for wicked?
Hold on, let me slide over. I got a thing there. The wicked let's see, evil or morally wrong.
Evil. Okay, and nor tread on?
Do something that affects or offends someone.
So the only definition that I would push back on is the way. And I know that the way is the name for Jesus's ministry, but,
Right.
But the scripture is talking about enter not on the way of the wicked. So you would want to find a definition that fits.
Path maybe.
Okay. All right, and then for verse 15 for shun.
Avoid.
Okay, pass not.
Swerve aside.
Veer away.
Make sure you definitely avoid this no matter what. Pass not by it.
Hold on, definitely avoid this. Okay, and then pass on is
keep it moving.
I love it. Yes. All right, for verse 16, rob.
Deprived.
Okay. And stumble.
To fall into waywardness.
Fall into. Wonderful. Okay, group 2, verse 17. I think I might have one of your definitions, but what did you get for feed?
We use the word eat instead.
Okay.
And our definition is to make use of the substance of idea through thinking about them.
Okay.
And Miss Glenda, if I get anything wrong, please chime in and be like, that's not what we said.
Okay, and for drink?
To take an idea and embody it.
Very good. All right, verse 18, way.
The perception and experience of the fullness of God.
Perception, experience. Okay, and verse 19, way.
Same way.
Okay, so I'm gonna push back on that one because remember, we're talking about the way of the wicked.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. And so that's how we got the if we take that definition of way, it makes it kind of like it tracks in the when you put it back in the verse, because it's like their perception and experience as opposed to like path. It's a different take on like path.
Okay, okay. All right.
And actually, I was the one that kind of, you know, and how I was okay with it is the perception and experience of the fullness of God of the transgressor is as the murk. They know not on what they may stumble.
Okay.
And so how it was in my mind, and please correct me if I'm in error thought here, but they're not able to perceive and experience the fullness of God. And I use the example of like the Tao in the Tao Te Ching, when it talks about the murky and the muddy water, and how when you stir the muddy water, you're not able to see clearly. And so when it says, of the wicked is as murk, it's like they're not able to perceive and experience the fullness of God because they have kind of stirred up their mess, and so then they're not able to see the divine.
Okay, okay.
Is how I could see using that same definition for both of them. But like I said, please.
Yeah, so with this, there are no wrong answers, right? There are as many metaphysical interpretations as there are people doing them. So if it's something that you feel strongly about, go with it. I think I would if I were doing it, I would veer more toward using path or way, but I want to stress that this is about what your soul is calling forward, and so part of doing it is trusting what you're getting, right? And even if nobody else is getting it.
Got you.
Right. So it's not, we're not looking for agreement. We're looking for what resonates, and what you just described to me resonates for you. Okay. What did you guys get for wicked?
Transgressor or revolter or rebel. If you just use one word, I guess transgressor. We amplified the definition of it with those two things.
And for stumble?
To make an error, to come to an obstacle to belief.
Okay. All right, insights, ahas. How did this feel? Was this good? Was it challenging?
I like the challenge. Sorry. It's a challenge in a good way. I think it opens your mind and kind of helps you to get clearer on what you understand and how to apply it. So that challenge is good.
Good. Anybody else? Any other insights, ahas, like any light bulbs turn on in a new way?
Well, one of the passages that Constance read from the Blue Letter Bible, I really like the phrasing of that much more so than the phrasing that we have. So that what it was saying to me is that instead of just looking for the meaning of the word, I also want to look at the phrasing in different Bibles, because those phrasing in other places may touch a different feeling than from one Bible to the next.
Good. Shamika, what were you going to say? Oh, okay.
Already said.
Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for going through the exercise. So next week, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these definitions that you guys developed, and I'm going to send them over to my virtual assistant, and she's going to build the packet with all the definitions typed out. Then when we come back next week, we're going to take those definitions and insert them back into scripture, and then see what we get. Right, and look at the meanings that emerge. And so that will complete the process. I feel like we stretch this way out, but I promise you, you guys helped me come up with something that I think that I definitely will use going forward. Couple of other like housekeeping things. Make sure you get the book, The Vivid Vision, because on November 11th, we will start with this book. Also, we have a new series at Up Church. So we're wrapping up Moving to Your Promised Land. Our new series is Conquering the 7 Deadly Sins. Just go on and get into some of that traditional language, conquering the 7 deadly sins. So I'm really excited for that. And I feel like there's something else I wanted to tell you guys. The poll. So we have a poll coming out for where we want to go in the new year. So Vivid Vision will close out the year, and then we're going to start the year with the money poems. I've got some new content with that, so I'm very excited to share that with you. And I want to know where you want to go after that. So make sure that you look out for the poll and let me know where you guys want to go. If you want to keep going with Proverbs and pick up a different Bible book, or if you want to pick up a whole new thought book in general, like what is going to feed your soul? What do you need in order to prosper and to grow? Wonderful. Anything else before we close out? Awesome. Well, I love and appreciate you guys. I'm always excited to do this. I'm grateful for you being a part of this process. And we are here to protect, preserve, progress, and pass on the art and science of metaphysical Bible interpretation. And I thank you for being such an important part of making that happen. Have a great night, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.
Thank you.